He's my quarterback. Don't talk about it. It's my quarterback. Welcome to another episode of the Go Intelligence Sports Podcast Show. Today, I'm coming to you after a Saints win, and it just feels good to talk about a win rather than a loss, right? Last week wasn't so great for us. Came out and absolutely got our tails kicked against the Carolina Panthers. But this week, we went to Foxborough. We put foots in the New England Patriots, man. But that's not what's got me kind of perturbed about the Saints, right? Today we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the production from Jameis Winston. We're going to talk about the Jameis Winston non-believers. We're going to talk about Sean Payton. We're going to talk about just the overall gist of what the team is doing. So first thing I need y'all to do is like the video. Subscribe if this is your first time watching me. And just share the videos for me. Let's get this algorithm with YouTube into recommending the videos and continue to build a channel. The first thing we're going to talk about today, and I'm not going to really do no editing on this. It's going to be one take Jake, baby. We're going to talk about Jameis Winston. Yesterday, Jameis Winston had a pretty average, decent game per se, but it's not anything that I would say is a bad thing. You know, I'll rather a slow and methodical win over a track meet any day. You know, I don't want to have my blood pressure pills in one hand and eat them like they're Skittles when I'm watching the Saints. I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm not about that life. I do not want that. I would rather me watch the Saints and cheer and just say, you know, it's a good win. Great win. Good defensive win. Saints could have put 30 points on the New England Patriots yesterday. But our kicker decided that he was going to take the day off. You know, Aldrich Rojas. Hey, man, if I were you, I'll be on Indeed.com, Monster.com, whatever have you, whichever you think is best. And I'll be putting out my resume because your days as a Saint is over. Will Lutz should be back this week. If he can't come back, I really think the Saints would probably take a flyer on any kicker this week, then have him come back and continue to miss 36-yard field goals. Are you kidding me? Get out of here, right? But back to the Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston played pretty good. You know, he's doing what he can do with the talent that he's had. The only person that would be starting on this team had it not be for injuries is Alvin Kamara. Let's talk about it. Marquez Callaway. If Mike Thomas and Traquan Smith are available, Marcus Callaway don't start. Deontay Harris. He's more returner than he is wide receiver. But he's serviceable as a deep threat, right? Kenny Stills would not be on this team. The Saints brought back Kenny Stills last week and activated him this week. He had a catch too for 17 yards, but he wouldn't be on this team if Michael Thomas and Traquan Smith are healthy. Juwan Johnson hasn't been seen since the Green Bay game. I believe Juwan Johnson is still probably in Green Bay. Jacksonville. Celebrating his touchdowns because he hasn't been seen since. He's on the milk cart. I think the Saints need to put out an APB for him or file a police report because I haven't seen him since. Adam Troutman, he can block, but he got stone hands. Like, I think our assessment of Jameis Winston is totally unfair to Jameis. And I'm not the biggest Jameis Winston fan. I'm really not. When Jameis first came to the Saints, I was like, man, whatever you do not play him. He had thrown 30 interceptions, 5,000 yards, but 30 interceptions. I wasn't on the Jameis Winston train, but he's the quarterback. He's my quarterback. Like Terrell Owens, he's my quarterback. Don't talk about it. It's my quarterback. So, hey, man, y'all get off J-Bo. Don't ride him so hard. Get off him. No homo, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Because guess what? Guess what? All your little Andrew Brees fans out there, when Drew Brees first came here, he wasn't the Drew Brees that we became accustomed to know. No, he was not. Do you understand? Drew Brees came in the league in 2001, played one game behind Doug Flutie. The next year, 2002, the San Diego Chargers gave him the starting job. Y'all want to know what his numbers was? Oh, I'm glad you asked me to read them for you. I'm about to read them for you. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look here. Drew Brees in 2012 played 16 games. That's a full NFL season. He threw 526 passes, completed 320 of them. He had 3,284 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. The very next year, let's say he's going to improve, right? He has to improve. That was his first year, right? He's another year in the system. He's going to improve, right? Drew played 11 games this year. The injury bug, but he played 11 games, right? He had 356 attempts. I told you this was just going to be one take, Jake. 356 attempts, right? 205 completions, right? He had 2,108 yards. He threw 11 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. You know what the San Diego Chargers did? They said shit on this. They went out there and drafted Phillip Rivers. And then, voila. He had a eureka moment, right? Drew Brees comes out the next year and he throws 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He becomes a serviceable quarterback. The next year he gets injured in the last game. But that year he threw 24 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. And then he becomes a New Orleans Saint. Only because the Miami Dolphins told him no. Let's keep that in mind. Only because the Miami Dolphins told him no, right? Then Drew becomes a Saint. Drew was on a pitch count. Drew wasn't throwing the ball as much as that we became accustomed to over the years when he first became the Saints. Saints got all the way to the championship game. But Drew, from Aaron Brooks to Drew Brees, that particular year was a lateral move. Some argue it was, but the Saints had a good enough defense. The Saints had Deuce McAllister to rely on. And the Saints had Joe Horn, a number one receiver who pretty much had the respect of the NFL of being a number one receiver. And a young rookie, Marcus Colston, who balled out. But to sit here and claim like Jameis is all of a sudden the reason why the Saints, they're I don't get it. The Saints are 2-1. We could be the Atlanta Falcons. You could be the Detroit Lions right now. You could be the Jacksonville Jaguars. But the Saints are 2-1. Let's hold off on the Jameis Winston criticism until we get all of the offensive weapons back. Then and only then will you see what Jameis is really capable of. Because right now, Sean Payton has him handcuffed. Sean Payton got him handcuffed like he has stole the Lord's Last Supper and waiting on a judge and jury to give him the death penalty. He is handcuffed. We've seen it the last 3 games. You know what? Throw the Carolina game out. Don't even worry about that because the Saints, that was the Saints representatives out there. That was the holograms. That weren't really the Saints. The Saints, no, don't do that. The Saints had 7 assistant coaches not coaching. Don't even worry about that game. Just throw that out, burn the film. You don't even worry about it, right? The New England game and the Green Bay game. Jameis Winston barely has over 100 yards passing. But he has 5 touchdowns in the Green Bay game, and he had 2 more touchdowns in this game. In the 2 games that the Saints have won, Jameis Winston have thrown 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think that's an improvement. Let's talk about the defense, though. The Saints' defense is balling. The Saints' defense is absolutely balling. Everyone knew that the Saints were going to have to rely on their defense because the offense had so many injuries, so many key injuries. But the defense is really stepping up to the task. They really have. Demario Davis is an absolute animal. The man runs from sideline to sideline. If there's anything that I don't have to worry about in life, right? What they say is death, taxes, and Demario Davis. Because he's going to show up. He's going to show up and he's going to show out. And, hey, man, it reminds me of Sam Mills. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember who Sam Mills was, the field mouse, but Sam could absolutely get out there and play, right? Saints cornerbacks, secondary, Marshawn Lattimore, P.J. Williams, Desmond Trufant, Bradley Roby, Malcolm Jenkins, Marcus Williams. Am I forgetting anybody? Those dudes are absolutely out there playing. Paulson Adebo is a rookie. He's going to get picked on. He gave up the touchdown yesterday. It was good coverage by him, but it was just a better play by, I think it was Jacoby Myers or somebody that caught that particular pass. That was a great play. It was a great play. But Paulson was right there. But Paulson is going to be growing pains with Adebo. But he's playing pretty good to say he's a rookie and has to be relied upon so early and often because everybody, they find 29 on the field and they throwing at him. And it's all good. It's okay. He's going to be fine. The defensive line, they're getting pressure. Cam Jordan, you will want to hear his name more, but Cam is being double teamed, right? Cam is being double teamed. So that's why it was so important for Marcus Davenport to step up, but he's injured. So now you have Passamoir and you have Peyton Turner, the young rookie, and Malcolm Roach got in there and played pretty awesome yesterday. The Saints defense is balling. I have no complaints about the defense. I have no complaints about the offense. I have no complaints about winning. Like Al Davis said, just win, baby. And if you're winning, what are we complaining about? What are we complaining about? The Saints are not going to go into any game and blow teams out. This is the NFL. It just does not happen often. 35-3 against Green Bay. I told y'all then. Or was it 38-3? It don't matter. I told y'all then that was an aberration. The Saints are not that much better than Green Bay. Green Bay they were late to the party. They didn't. I really believe that the NFL informed Green Bay that the season was starting the week before, and they just come out there and just they tried. They ain't had no game plan or something. I don't know what the hell it was, but the Saints are not that much better than Green Bay. But let's talk about, well, my bad. I said this was going to be one take, Jake, but I got to add this part in. The offensive line. Yesterday, the Saints lost another offensive lineman, Teron Armstead, our bookend left tackle, right? So now we're down 2 offensive linemen out of the projected 5, right? That we had Teron Armstead, Andres Pete, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Ryan Ramczyk, right? So now we're playing James Hurst, Andres Pete, Cesar Ruiz at center. Is it Throckmorton at right guard? And Ryan Ramczyk still at right tackle. So we don't know going forward what the protection is going to be like because honestly, the last 2 games, the Saints have been getting their ass whooped on that offensive line when it comes to pass rushing. Our rushing game improved this week. Alvin Kamara had 24 carries for 89 yards. So the running game is doing what it's supposed to do. But our protection for Jameis hasn't really been there. And that's another reason why you should lay off of Jameis, because he's not really being protected. Yesterday he was sacked 3 times, right? Name a game where Drew would get touched, somebody would even blow on Drew. You know, well, of course he did get hit last season and got some broken ribs or whatever, but that was an outlier. That was a one-off. Drew really didn't get pressure like talking about it. But Jameis, they say, oh, Jameis is holding the ball too long. Well, goddamn, our receivers can't get no separation. So hold on, just shut up about Jameis. Give it some time. It's week 3. Week 3. The Saints are 2-1. This week we have the New York Giants coming to the Superdome. Finally, the Saints are playing a game in the Superdome. This team has been living out of a suitcase since August 28th. Almost a month. They get home. They get some of that good home cooking. The Giants come to town. Maybe we can cook them too, because they ain't that good. They lost to the Falcons yesterday. They ain't setting the world on fire. And hopefully the Saints get to 3-1. That's the goal, right? The goal is to win. It don't matter if we win pretty or we win ugly. A win is a win is a win. And I'm here for it. This has been another episode of the Go Intelligent Sports Podcast Show. Like I say, like the video, share the video, and subscribe if this is your first time watching me. I have more content coming on the way with the Saints and with sports in general. So become a part of the Goon Squad and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, see you later.